In this video, I'm going to talk about financial freedom and dispel some of the myths that are preventing you from achieving it. So stick around. Hello, I'm Sean with Families Creating Financial Freedom, and today I want to talk about financial freedom, some of the simple patterns that we need to develop, and dispel some of the rumors or the myths that can get in the way and hold you back from truly experiencing it. A lot of this is common sense, old school approaches, and I know many people out here are working your butts off day to day, and yet you feel like you're no closer to achieving financial freedom. So, sit back, roll up your sleeves, and let's get going. You know, there's a good chance that everyone that's watching this video has had an older person in their life, maybe it was a grandmother, that used to say that they were always watching their nickels. Well, I bet if you notice, those same people that were always watching their nickels always had a nickel, right? They may not have been wealthy, but they had money. Their basic needs were taken care of, and they didn't seem to worry. Well, maybe they worried, but not the same kind of worry as that person who doesn't know how they're going to manage to pay their bills that month. Why? Well, it's because when they watched their nickels, they knew where their money went. They were careful and cautious and practical. So let's talk about some basic principles that can help you maybe change your mindset and experience financial freedom. A very obvious and simple approach. Spend less than you make. Easier said than done, especially right now with the rapidly rising, inflation. Food, goods, basic things are costing us all more and more. But we should all make a very conscious effort to never spend more than we make. It's easy in today's times to use a credit card or a debit card that has a line of credit and just swipe and go. I caution you, get away from that. If you follow my processes, if you take my course, Financially Free in 2023, you're going to revise some of your patterns through some efforts over a 30, 60, 90, 120 day and 365 day process that replaces some habits with new habits so that you certainly are watching your spending without worrying about it in the same manner. So tip number 1, never spend more than you make. Tip number 2, pay yourself first. Well, that also seems like an obvious and very simple practice. Depends on how your money goes. But when we talk about paying yourself first, we're talking about making sure that you save. The first level of savings may be that emergency fund that protects you. And then after that, we're talking about a longer term window of savings. And then also for retirement. None of us want to work the rest of our lives, and it takes saving for retirement. So you must pay yourself first. I recommend trying to set aside at least 10% of your budget to pay yourself before you get into doing other things, entertainment and fun stuff. You have to pay yourself first. Next, if you don't already own a home where you're paying a mortgage, you should work towards buying a home, not renting. Why do I say this? A lot of people are frustrated about the rising cost of home and in combination with interest rates currently going up. Well, people that have lived longer than you and I have seen higher interest rates than current. We've also seen some historically low interest rates. Those come and go. But I can tell you the interest rate on rent is 100%. you're not getting anything. You're not getting a tax deduction. You're not building equity. And you have nothing to show for paying rent other than you're paying someone else's mortgage. So you want to own a property, be it a condo, a home, whatever that vision is, whatever you can do to fit within a budget, but you should work towards buying a home and getting away from renting. Next, never loan money to friends. Yes, we have all been caught in that trap of loaning money to friends. If you find you must, I would say you need to mentally write it off as you gave a friend money, because it's very unlikely you're ever going to see it again. So you've lost what you gave them. And if you don't have it to lend, be very blunt that you're just not in a position to loan the money. But if they ask and you have it and you feel like you must, then you need to accept you're probably never going to see it again. It's not exactly sound advice, is it? I know we all have been caught in that trap of loaning money to friends, but it's a really poor practice and one you should do everything to avoid. Next, don't invest in things you don't understand. Warren Buffett will tell you, understand the way something works in a basic level. Don't go into wild, crazy finance schemes that people promise huge returns, but you just don't understand how that will happen. To me, in telling my clients, we go through education and talk about their portfolio and their investments, but I tell them, think in a common sense way about what your investments are and how they're going to work, why things will go up and go down, and understand. If it doesn't make sense, if you can't understand, you don't want to put your money there. Also, when we talk about investing, invest for the long term. Don't invest for the short term. I tell my client that investing is like the waves in the ocean. Things go up and they go down. The more risk, the higher the waves, the deeper the troughs. So the top of the wave may be your gain, but I promise you, you're going to see equivalent dips in the wave, also known as a trough. And so you need to be willing to accept something happening over a long term, because the short term can set you up for a quick frustration and a decline when you may need access to the money. So anything you do investing wise should be for the long term. I tell clients also, don't try to time the market. The best approach, my favorite approach, is very simple. It's called dollar cost averaging. If you're putting in money, say the same amount every month, the theory is that you will buy in more favorably over the length of time than you will unfavorably. So let me try and explain this in greater detail. If you buy a investment, a mutual fund, a stock or whatever, one day it may be $1 more, the next day $1 lower. If you're buying it at $1 lower, then you're kind of getting a sale on it and it will rise. If the next day you buy it, it's $1 over, well, the long vision of buying investments means it will still rise above and the two average out. Simple. $1 up, $1 down equals an even. So over long term, you will come out more favorably than if you simply try to time the market. I also tell my clients, I'm not a day trader. I don't have an interest in day trading. It is very risky and the quickest way to lose money. So A, don't buy into things you don't understand. 2, don't try to invest for the short term. And 3, don't try to time the market. All 3 of those, if you do the opposite of what I'm suggesting, are going to set you up to fail every time. Give back. That's the next piece of advice. Give back. Remember, as you get ahead, there are those behind you trying to do the same thing. Share your wisdom, your experiences. Also, be charitable with organizations and whatnot. Everyone out here is struggling, and not everybody is as far ahead as you are, believe it or not. And everybody deserves an opportunity and an education. So give back. My next piece of advice about investing, we talked about dollar cost averaging, understanding what you're investing in, don't time the market, go for the long term. The other feature that ties in to the long term is Albert Einstein said the strongest force in the universe is compounding interest. Well, that really holds true. Compounding investments, compounding interest. So the longer you hold an investment, the more you will see the gains through the compounding of that growth. So if you have an investment that earns, say, 6% every year, well, year one, you earn 6% on what you put in. Year two, you might earn 6% on what you put in plus that new 6%, and it continues to grow. It's called a compounding curve. If you don't understand a compounding curve, research it. It is a very powerful mechanism for growth, and once you understand it, you'll feel a little bit more confident about the long-term investment versus the why I don't see my money going crazy in growth the first several years. So again, compounding interest. Let it work in your favor. That's long term. My last tidbit for today is also to make money, you have to find money, and to find money, sometimes you have to be very crafty in how you do it. A lot of people often say it's funny how the rich are always the ones getting richer and the poor getting poorer. Well, there are tips and tricks. So it's being crafty. With that in mind, I just want to remind people, if you haven't seen in my previous videos, I'm going to be launching a new course January 1 called Financially Free in 2023. So I'm including the link in the description. Sign up. You don't have to commit today, but I will send you a discount code so that when the course does go live, you can save money. There's my thrifty tip for the day. And two, I'm going to teach you some of those tips and tricks as we go through the course, organizing your debt, restructuring some of your debt. Yes, there's some great tips and tricks right there that free up money for more rapid debt elimination, tracking your budget. For some of you, we know it, you're going to need to create a budget. It may sound painful, but I promise you, before the year is up in 2023, you're going to be very grateful you took the course. So follow the link in the description and let's get going. I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, be sure to follow me and smash the like button. Until the next one, take care.